Peace, what's good, y'all? It's your brother God Science. I'm up in here once again, yo. Shout out, special salute to the few that do watch the videos and subscribe. I appreciate y'all, true indeed. Yo, we're gonna do a little real quick, overdue review of the Alchemist album with Hit Boy. Dope. Classic, once again. And you know, I recently saw his interview. I didn't even know that his father was locked up, and I was wondering when that album came out. Big hit, and he could rhyme. To me, you know, I might be a little biased because I'm a big Alchemist fan, but that album is dope, man. And his father, you know, he can rhyme, man. He sounds better than a lot of people out here. And it's just sad that, you know, just being caught up in the streets and all that, man. He wasn't, you know, he's not out here to, like, you know, push the album and do interviews and stuff. But, you know, like Hit Boy was saying on his, you know, the interview, you can't save everybody, you know. But dope album, man. One of the most, and I gotta say, one of the dopest songs on that album is Ricky. The lyrics on there, you know, and this is the music that I'm talking about, you know. It's a balance, you know what I mean? It's a time to talk that braggadocious stuff, how much money I got, how much cars I got, how much times I'm getting my dick, you know, all that. But then you got those, you know, I love Hit Boy's verse when he talks about, you know, getting his heart broken and taking 4 months to get over, and all I want to do is just make music to feed my, yo, that's something real. I felt that. I just felt that. Then you have the contrast to Al growing up in a whole different environment, but still having that same experience of life is what you were told, you know what I'm saying? So it's a dope album, man. Dope concepts. Definitely, to me personally, one of the best albums of this year. A lot of dope albums has dropped this year. Mobb Deep, Clips set it off to me. You know, Raekwon came out. I mean, it's just been a lot of good hip hop this year. Regardless of, you know, I've heard that, you know, there's no hip hop on the Billboard charts, because the majority of it is watered down. But, you know, that real will always maintain, and it's a heavy rotation in my car. You know what I'm saying? As long as I'm rocking with it, I really don't care who's listening to what. You know, right now I'm on this album right here, Ghost Dog soundtrack, which was a dope soundtrack and a dope movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. But to me, it's like one of the last, and I can't say the last because the W was a dope album, but some of the last great production by the RZA. It was a dope album, soundtrack, especially Cakes with Kool G Rap. You know, Kool G Rap destroys every track that he's on, basically. And that's a CD that I'm looking for, Live and Let Die, which I think is his best album. But definitely that Alchemist and Hit Boy, I will give it 4 mics. Yes, sir. I'll give it 4 mics. Dope album. The beats, they collab very, I mean, you got Havoc on there, you got Conway the Machine on there. They collab beautifully. You know what I mean? It's just a dope album from beginning to end. And I love an album where you don't have to skip, and it tells a story, a concept, a sequence, and it's smooth. All that shit makes a great album. Not just the music, the way it's sequenced, the, you know, what song comes behind this song. It's all an art form, you know. But I'm kind of nerdy when it comes to music, you know what I mean? Some people don't get into it that deep, but I do. The artwork, everything, you know what I mean? But yeah, dope album. I've been just riding to it constantly, listening to it, you know, and the more I listen to it, the more it just gets better and better. And that's definitely a sign. Just like the Mobb Deep album, a sign of a great album put together. You know, I wish Prodigy was alive, because you know those lyrics would have been much more. But you know, with what they had, they definitely did an amazing job, man. And Al is just on a run, period. He's like in that zone where he can't do no wrong. And what I'm very excited about is that, gotta get my caffeine rush. He's teaming up with Armand Hammer once again, man. Now, the first album he did with, that's the first time I found out who Armand Hammer was. Yes. You know, the Needle Drop dude, Anthony, he did a lot of, he's been following Armand Hammer for a while. And yes, I'm a little biased because they're from New York, my hometown, so I gotta support. But these dudes are dope. Billy Woods, when you talk about MCs out right now, the Lucid, yo, these dudes are dope. And the first collab, it was so, I love when Alchemist does, I won't call it weird beats, but when he experiments, but it's still dope. And on that first album, he did a lot of experimentation, but it was dope. And that's basically like the Armand Hammer has their own sound, which is so dope. You know, it's a lot of people haven't heard of them. They're a little bit underground, which surprises me. I don't hear Billy Woods' names or Lucid come up when they talk about dope MCs out right now. But these dudes are dope. And I'm so excited to see that their album, I think it's going to be dropping on the 7th or something like that. What the hell is today's date? I don't even, anyway. That's the amount of stuff that I've been doing lately. But that album, I'm excited to hear where Alchemist is going to take it. Because the first album, he basically wanted it to come into, you know, listening to the interview, he wanted to come into Armand Hammer's world, and their beats are abstract. You think, you know, Earl Sweatshirt beats is abstract. His album, they got their own sound. When you hear a sound, you know that's Armand Hammer. You know what I mean? And he went into that zone, but with the Alchemist style, and it was dope. I think it was called I forgot the name. Harman with those two pig heads on the cover. But dope album, man. And I was riding to that for a while, and I'm like, yo, I can't believe I never knew who the hell Armand Hammer was. So you know me, when I, you know, discover an artist, I go back to their catalog. So I went back to Race Music, which was their first joint album together, and that shit was, I'm like, wow. Then I just went up to Rome. I just went through, you know, all the albums, and like, it's like I discovered a whole new group. You ever got that feeling when you discovered a group like nobody else, so you got this special group, like back in the days in the 90s. That's how we used to be, you know what I mean? Like, I remember when I discovered Outkast. I was in New York, and I was always into that funk sound, you know what I'm saying? Messing with EPMD and stuff like that. Growing up around my pops, he had the Parliament, he had all that. And that funky playlist, the Cadillac Music, came out, and I saw that video, and I'm like, yo, what the hell is this shit? So on the rip, and it, you know, it gets to me when and yes, I'm not gonna front. New York was fronting on the South. A lot of, you know, New York is kind of arrogant. You know, New Yorkers could be arrogant. You know, hip hop came out of New York, and they felt like they had this hole on it. And at that time, you know, other than the Ghetto Boys and a few artists here or there, it was more of Luke Skywalker, you know, because I used to come to the South when my mom and pops divorced. So I got to see what was going on down here. You know what I mean? And this is the early 90s. So it's more, you know, Magic Mike was running Orlando. Miami was 2 Live Crew. So when Outkast came out, it was bars. You know, it was a little bit of this like player thing to it, but it was bars, and it was like dope beats. Like, who the fuck is Organized Noise? That's all every time I bought an album, I would just open up Organized Noise, produced by, I'm like, who the fuck is Organized Noise? I didn't know till the second album when they had that cartoon thing and it showed Organized Noise. They were like in a body and they had like 3 heads, and I'm like, oh, there's 3 of them. So I always wanted to know who these dudes was. So I was on Outkast from the jump. You know what I mean? Not everybody was hating. You know what I'm saying? Good music is good music. I don't care if you're from the South, Alaska. If your music is dope, I'm on it. And there was no denying that first album. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. I mean, I was like, yo, these dudes is out of Atlanta? And it is like, I can't believe it. And then Goodie Mob. So when you discover a group, it's like, wow, you know what I mean? And I'm putting my dues on you. You get listen to this Outkast, bro. And when they came out with the Benz and the Beamer single for New Jersey Drive soundtrack, it was over for me. But anyway, I'm going all over the place. I'm supposed to be doing a review for Alchemist and Hit Boy, but I just love talking music. Definitely go pick up that album. I'll listen to it, download it, whatever, stream it. Dope album. Hit Boy is one of the dopest producers out here. Alchemist, 2 of them just hooking up together, nothing but magic, man. So 4 mics for me on that. Definitely check that out, and I'm just waiting for that Arm & Hammer to drop and see where they're gonna take it here, because Alchemist is on that run, man. And I was so blessed. I want to put it up on YouTube, but I don't know if I'm gonna get a copyright strike. But I was able to go to the Alfredo tour when they came to Orlando and met Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist. Alchemist is short, man. But I never met him before, but it's just cool to meet someone that you've been listening to for so long, since Murder Music. And I was just like, yo, man, just thank you for the inspiration and the music you're making. The dude, they were down to earth, man. Freddie Gibbs is a is a clown, man. But he's a cool brother. But definitely was a dope show, man. But anyway, y'all go pick up that album, man. We'll be back with some more hip-hop talk. Just talking about classic albums that's dropping out now. That's basically the focus of my channel, man. Once in a while, because I know it's a lot going on out here. I'm trying to stay out the political crap. But we're going to touch on that too. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you, man. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll be up with the next one, man. And y'all stay safe up there and keep y'all heads up, man. Peace. Okay. Guess it doesn't want to end.